なんかこうやるやつあるじゃん。
Hello! We are going to talk about American manners that are not often found in textbooks.
教科書に載ってない、アメリカのマナー。
Yes, so American English in this case, as it's the only thing I have experience in. Okay, number 1. So when you meet an American person, what do you do?
挨拶だよね。
Yeah.
こんにちは。
That's true. And if you're in a business situation or a semi-formal situation, you want to do a handshake.
握手ね。
In Japan, we often receive a handshake that's a little different than how we are taught. So let's see if you can find what's wrong with this handshake.
どこが違うのか。
Did that look right? Okay, so what was wrong with that handshake? We actually do practice handshakes in university and sometimes in high school as well. When you do a handshake, you want to look the person straight in the eye, extend your hand, give a firm handshake.
しっかり持つと。
Yes, but don't squeeze. And shake. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Like this. So make sure when you give a handshake that you've got a firm grip. Several times in Japan I have received kind of like this fingertip handshake. I think, oh no, they don't want to shake my hand because they don't want to meet me or something.
多分日本人にとってはさ、逆にこうするとさ、痛いと思っちゃうから
Maybe a little,
申し訳ないからこうちょっと触る程度にやってるけど、それがちょっと変だなって思うんでしょ。
Yeah, so the amount, I guess, grip that you put in your handshake is supposed to be equal to your confidence.
だから逆にちょっとこういう風にやってるのはなんか触りたくないよって思われてるかなっていう風に感じちゃうってことね。だからしっかり持って握手するようにしてほしいと。シエラも日本に来て握手いろいろしてもらうことあるじゃん。
Yes, because I think often maybe people in Japan think that's what we're used to, so they give a handshake. I really appreciate the gesture, but if you do go for the handshake, just make sure you've got a decently good grip and a nice posture as well. But you don't have to do handshakes are for formal situations or kind of semi-formal, like if you're meeting someone and you're asking them for a favor and you want to be polite. You don't have to do handshakes with friends, though you can. I mean, we've kind of got like that casual handshake. Anyone could do it. Particularly, it's from my experience, it seems to be men that do like this kind of half handshake hug kind of thing.
それをその話もなんかあるかも。なんかこうやるやつあるじゃん。
Well, you don't have to do that. But especially in men, they tend to do like this half handshake, half hug, maybe bump, and then away.
握手のやり方をしっかりやってくださいということですね。
A confident handshake. I think that's sort of the key word today. That when it comes to manners, we want to be perceived as confident. So this kind of leads into number 2. Most often in Japanese textbooks, we see my name is Ciara.
My name is Ken とかね。
Yeah. My name is Hiro. That is perfectly acceptable. It's a perfectly acceptable way to introduce yourself, but it is not the only way. So, of course, you can say, I'm Ciara. And in business situations, when we want to seem confident, we can also just say our name. So, for example, Ciara. One more time. Ciara.
Kazushi.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Like this. You can also just say your name as well.
名前だけ言うこともある。
Yeah, that's a good way to introduce yourself as well.
My name is 何々ってあんまり使わないよね。普通の会話だと。多分ビジネスだったらなんかちゃんとしなきゃいけないから言うけども、普段だと I'm Ciara とか。
Yeah, I think we use my name is when we didn't expect to meet someone. If we just like run into someone and we start talking, be like, oh, by the way, my name is Ciara. But if I'm meeting you and I know I'm going to meet you, maybe in a friends group, I'll just be like, I'm Ciara. Or Ciara, nice to meet you.
日本でもそうだよね。私の名前は和志ですって普通の会話で。
But my name is perfectly acceptable. You can still continue to use it, no problem. But if you want to level up your casual English English skills, of course, you can say
全然間違いではないと。
I'm or just your name as well. Okay, so then let's move on to number 3. And I've got notes on my phone, so I'll be checking that from time to time. Please excuse me. Number 3. When we are having a conversation, we often hear thank you. And how do you respond to thank you?
You are welcome.
Exactly. Well, it's perfectly acceptable standard American English. Younger people tend to actually not use you're welcome as often anymore. So, for example, Kazushi asks me to grab, I don't know, an orange juice out of the refrigerator. I'll give him the orange juice. And he'll say,
Thank you.
And I'll say, no problem. No problem is another way to say you're welcome. So what is the difference between you're welcome and no problem? So the difference is you're welcome means that Kazushi should be thankful that I got him the orange juice. When I say no problem means I am happy to help you.
助けられて嬉しいよみたいなことで no problem を使う。
I am happy to help you. I'm not asking you to be thankful. Like instead of like, oh, you should be thankful. I helped you is you're welcome. I mean, if you really want to break it down, like people don't think that much about it.
なるほどなるほど。やることが嬉しいからやってるんだよみたいな感じで no problem.
Yes, no problem.
なるほど。
This is more so for casual situations. Another way to say you're welcome is my pleasure.
My pleasure.
My pleasure. So that's a little more formal, but you can of course use it at any time. Like literally, my pleasure, I am happy, is on the same line as no problem. I give you the juice and you say,
Thank you.
And I say, my pleasure. I'm happy to help you. So it's really good in business situations. I don't know, if you're just a little extra every day, you could use it too.
お店の人が言う感じ
It's not like, you should be thankful, I have brought you this food. It's like, I am happy to bring you this food.
なるほどなるほど。もうちょっとポライトな感じだね。
Yeah.
お役に立てて嬉しいですみたいな感じなのかな。
You're welcome is perfectly acceptable, but I guess in the younger generation, more so, we want to express our happiness to help people, I guess, versus our expectations with you're welcome to be like, oh, you should be happy that I helped you. That's just another way to say it. I always use no problem at school because I'm happy to help people.
You are welcome とさ、no problem はカジュアルとかそういうのはない。No problem の方がカジュアルだったりする。
No problem is slightly more casual, and my pleasure is slightly more formal.
そうだね。なんかそんなイメージはあるね。
And you're welcome is, you can use it anytime, really, but if you choose to use you're welcome, then you can use it in any situation.
なるほど。
Okay, so number 4. Often in Japanese textbooks, or from what I've heard, just, I don't know, having conversations with people who use English as a second language. If I am explaining a situation which is a little unfortunate, perhaps, I missed my alarm clock this morning. I didn't wake up on time. They would often say, that's too bad. This is perfectly acceptable English. But that's too bad has kind of often been used in cartoons.
Cartoon.
But we're kind of telling a lie. Like, oh, we can't find the princess's crown. That's too bad.
ちょっと悪意を感じる時もあるって感じ。
This is sort of just what has happened in a lot of animations or TV shows. Like, oh, that's too bad. Where it was standard English, but it's been used in such a way for so long that now I can only kind of see it in this Disney.
ディズニーのなんか悪者が使ってるような
Yeah,
っていうのが
exactly.
少しある。
So, what can we use instead of that? A very neutral phrase that you can use is, I'm sorry to hear that.
I'm sorry here.
I'm sorry to hear that. If something unfortunate has happened, and this is probably from anything really small to medium level, I'm sorry to hear that means I'm sad that that happened to you. It's very standard. A standard way to respond to an unfortunate situation. Well, that's too bad. I'm sorry to hear that.
主語が I になってるからじゃない I'm sorry って言ってるから本当にみたいな自分の感情が入ってる感じに聞こえる That's too bad って何も me とか I とか入ってないから
Yeah. I mean, there isn't any direct feelings into that. I'm sorry to hear that. is it's very neutral and you can use it for any kind of unfortunate situation that you can use it in probably 95 to 99% of cases, unless there's another phrase that you need in a situation where maybe a family member has passed away. You can also say I'm sorry to hear that, but there's other phrases you can use. Okay, so another common phrase that we hear is thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And of course, you can say thank you. It's perfectly acceptable English, but there are other words that you can use too.
他にもあると。
Yes. In a casual situation, you can say thanks.
Thanks.
Thanks. Or something that many people use nowadays that's in the same sort of line with my pleasure and no problem is a lot of people say I appreciate it.
I appreciate it.
For some reason, I often hear men say this. Anyone can use it. It's not masculine at all.
あ、なんで？
Maybe it's a little more neutral, I guess. Because, you know, girls like, oh, thank you!
あ、ちょっとなんかおじさまっぽい感じで I appreciate it.
I appreciate it. Also shows kansha, thankfulness. You might hear otokurashi kind of people be like, oh, I appreciate it. But it's not masculine in any way. I say it
まあ
too.
シエラにとってそういうイメージがある。
Yeah, but definitely, like, as guys are leaving, they say, appreciate it.
あれじゃない Thank you よりもちょっと言いにくいからさ、より感謝してるみたいな感じになるんかね。Thank you ってさ、すごい言える。Thanks とか Thank you とかさ、言いやすいじゃん。I appreciate it って単語のこのスペルが長いからなんかよりなんか長く感謝してる感があるかもしれないね。
Appreciate it. And then it might just be like starting with P. Appreciate it.
Appreciate A 言わないんだ。Appreciate.
Yeah.
Appreciate.
Yeah. That's casual. Thank you is always good for formal situations, but in casual situations, thanks or thank you or I appreciate it. Me being a girl, I like to say, oh, thank you so much. There's several different ways that you can say thank you besides just saying thank you, period. I appreciate it. Okay, number 6. We're going from very happy things to say into a little bit more unfortunate situations. I didn't know what to say to teachers in my school who maybe their family members had passed away 2 years ago or something from health problems or something. I'm not quite sure. But so what do you say in English when you want to express your sadness for a person passing away? And passing away is a synonym for died.
誰かが亡くなってしまった時にどう言うかってことだね。
So a very standard way of saying this is I'm sorry for your loss.
I'm sorry for your loss.
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 L-O-S-S. Yes. So loss is another form of the word lost. I'm sorry for what you lost. I'm sorry for your loss.
Lost じゃなくて loss.
Yes, loss. This is kind of a standard way response to if you hear that someone in their family or their friend or anyone has passed away. You can probably even say it for like their dog too, because no matter who in your life may have passed away, that's always a loss, even if it's a dog. So dogs are very important in people's lives, cats, anything. I'm sorry for your loss.
あれだよね、お悔やみ申し上げますとかになるかな、日本語だったら。直訳するとあれかね、あなたのロスにちょっと気の毒に思いますみたいな。
Because what is it in Japanese? Isn't it like 気の毒?
あ、気の毒に思います。だけど、多分亡くなった人に対してはお悔やみ申し上げますみたいな感じなんだけど。
Very formal.
そう。それになるんじゃないでも。
Yeah.
You are lost なんだね。
And I didn't plan to put this in the video, but here it is. So you can always say, I can lend you my ear. I can lend you my ear. It means if you want to talk, I am available.
耳貸すよってこと？
Yes. So if you would like to talk about something, then I am willing to listen.
それがなんか悲しいことが起こってる人たちにそういうシチュエーションの時に使う言葉。
Yes.
あ、そうなんだ。
You might find yourself stuck in a situation where you say, I'm sorry for your loss, and then they say thank you, and then it's like, dot.
あ、また打ち返しってこと。
Yeah, like, you can say, I can lend you my ear if you'd like. Do you want to talk about it? Do you want to talk about any of the happy times you had with that person? Would you like to go get coffee or a sandwich or something? I mean, I guess now you can't do that, but would you like to Skype?
例えば I'm sorry about your pet, your dog とかさ、
Yeah, you can say
そのダイレクトに言うことがいけないのかなってちょっと思ったんだけど、そういうわけでもないんだ別に。I'm sorry about your dog とか I'm sorry about your dog とか言うよりももうちょっとオブラートというかなんかポライトな感じ。
Yeah, I mean, maybe you might want to avoid using the direct word. I mean, maybe you could say I'm sorry about your dog because maybe the person might think that someone who was human passed away. So maybe I'm sorry about your dog is okay. But I'm sorry for your loss. People in that situation, they might be very sensitive. So using dad, so using dad might be like, Daddy, you know.
そうだね。だからセンシティブなことだから直接その単語を使わないで、Your loss っていうのでオブラートにしてるんだね。
Yeah, in general, English is very direct, but in this case, it's a very good phrase.
英語って大体さ、ちゃんと主語とかさ、はっきり言わなきゃいけないから、で日本語でも多分お父様のことをとてもお悔やみ申し上げますとか誰に対してお悔やみ申し上げますみたいななんかそういうこと言うけどこの時は確かにそうだねちょっとセンシティブなことだから、You are lost ってオブラートにさせるああ知らなかったこれは。
I only thought of this because while I was learning Japanese, unfortunately, one of my teachers, I think her father passed, maybe it was her father, someone in her family had passed away, so she taught us what to say in Japanese. This is one of those things that you don't always think of when you're studying, but unfortunately one of these things that you run into.
なるほど。
Alright, so then let's go on to number 7.
最後かな
Yeah, this is the last one. Okay, so this actually happened when we were in America. This is a phrase that I think maybe a foreigner doesn't need to say it in America, but you may hear your foreigner friends say it to someone. So when you meet someone in the military, or they say, oh, I'm in the army, I'm in the navy. I said this to someone in America. I said to the military person, thank you for your service. And Kazushi was like, later, he was like, what did you say?
ちょうどなんかアメリカにシエラと旅行に行ってた時に軍の従事者の方多分働いてた方だよねで働いてたんだみたいなこと言ったらシエラが Oh, thank you for your service って言ってどういうことなのかなって思ってそこは全然聞き取れたけどなんでシエラが Thank you for your service って言ってるんだろうな
So thank you for your service. So there's kind of a word in parentheses missing. So thank you for your military service.
そうだね、ミリタリーサービス。
Yeah, so I mean, or if you lived in America for a long time, I could see maybe someone using that as well. Maybe a little irrelevant if you're from different countries or you're in Japan. I met someone from the military in Japan. There's several military bases in Japan.
でもこれはあれかも、日本も昔はあったのかもしれない。そういう、
Really?
なんかお国のためにありがとうございますみたいなのが、今はまあ自衛隊とか普通の、まあ、そういう人たちだからちょっと違う表現になるのかもしれないけど、だからそういうことだよね。多分お国のためにありがとうございますみたいなことが Thank you for your military service, Thank you for your service っていう結構使われる。特にアメリカで、普通に歩いてたりとか喋ったりするとこの言葉は聞かれてテキストには載ってない言葉の一つなんだなっていう。
You don't have to necessarily say it.
実際に使うことほとんどないと思うけど、でも結構使うよねこれね。
Oh yeah, America is very very proud of its military.
そうだね、結構いっぱいいるもんね。
So if we think of more things, we will do another video. But for now, these are 7 things that Americans say that are not often in an English textbook. If you have an opportunity to try some more of the casual fun ones, go ahead. English is a pretty flexible language, so there's a lot of like wakamono speech that's always evolving too. I'd like to see a little bit more casual English in the textbooks. So please try.
他にもなんかあれば適宜紹介していこうと思うけども、結構英語の表現でも面白いところあるよね。Your loss とか Your service とかね、なんか英語ならではのところかなと思うので今後も 紹介できたらと思うので、よろしくお願いしますということで、はい、
Okay, thank you for watching. So,
Thank you for watching.
if you like this video, you can hit like and subscribe and the bell. Ding.
あ、そんなのあるの？ベルなの？
Yeah, now we have a bell.
あ、そうなの？はい
Alright, thank you for watching.
じゃあね
Bye. See you.